y'all, and welcome to our final Goji Games 2025 practice session. We are here to practice the final two games that will be in the Goji Games 2025. If you are joining us here for the first time, thank you so much for being here. We're so glad that you have chosen to join us and to play with us. The two games that we are going to finish off with during our practice round are Solitaire and then Vintage Wings. These two games we haven't yet covered in our practice round, so we are super excited to practice them with you today. So we're going to start by just exploring the leaderboards. Let's take a look at our current leaderboards for the Goji games and see where folks are stacking up. Okay, so here we see the general adult division. Lots of participation here. We have lots of people who have already made it highlighted, which means that if you continue to stay in that spot all the way to November 2nd, you will make it to that final round, that live tournament day on November 8th. For Vintage Wings, 8 individuals can qualify for the live tournament. So keep pedaling and keep practicing. Let's take a look at the Creature Crunch division. Creature Crunch can host more folks in their live tournament. So we can host up to 16 individuals, and it looks like we have 9. Nice work. Let's look at Go Bikes, and this is the general adult category. For Go Bikes, we have up to 7. This can actually host up to 8, but it looks like there's going to be some steep competition in the general adult division. Let's go check out the active adult division. The active adult division. All right, we have some folks in the active older adult division for Creature Crunch. And for Solitaire, ooh, we have fierce competition in Solitaire. Nice. Solitaire can host up to 8 individuals, so keep that in mind. All right, let's take a look at the next division, the staff division. This staff division is coming out fierce. For Castle Cart, this game can host up to 12 individuals. And so keep competing and trying your best to get the highest score. Let's take a look at Go Battle. Go Battle. Nice. This category will host up to 4 teams. So keep practicing and keep playing. Last but not least, let's take a look at Creature Crunch. Ooh, Jeff Collins has made it on the top of the leaderboard with a badge. Wow, incredible work. All right, let's check out the youth division. If you are just tuning in, the youth division is definitely an area where there's lots of opportunity to still participate. So keep trying your best to sign up. We have Castle Cart, we have Go Battle, we have Go Bikes and Vintage Wings, and we are seeing that there are still spaces for youth to compete in the Goji games. So we are hoping that you come out and you join us for this year's Goji games. All right, y'all. As I mentioned, we are going to practice Vintage Wings today, and we are also going to practice Solitaire. So let's kick off Vintage Wings. That's where we're going to start. We're super excited because we haven't been able to practice Vintage Wings or to play it in tournament mode. So this will be very fun and very exciting. Vintage Wings is our game that's all about flying. There's lots of different cool creative worlds that you can fly through. So you have to be on your toes. We will select a different world, a different track. We're going to do normal mode. In order to make it to the live tournament for Vintage Wings, you need to have high points. How do you get high points? That means you are flying through those purple glowing rings. So go ahead and join us in the Vintage Wings tournament lobby. How do you do that? You are going to select the Vintage Wings icon. Then you are going to select Join Tournament. From there, you should see that there is an active lobby. So go ahead and join that lobby. We're going to wait for some folks, see if some folks will join us in the lobby for Vintage Wings. Vintage Wings is fast-paced. It will sure to get your heart rate up and increased. You are going to be getting a great workout for your body. The cardio is top-notch. You're also going to get a great workout for your brain because you're going to be strategizing, you're going to be thinking about your moves, where you're going to fly, and you definitely need to control your steering when you are playing Vintage Wings. The better you are at steering, the more likely you are to make it to the front of the pack. You definitely want to be at the front of the pack. All right, y'all. Let's wait a few more moments to see if anyone will join us in that Vintage Wings lobby. So there's something slightly different in the qualifiers. You want to get the most points possible. How do you do that? As I mentioned, that means you are flying through those glowing rings. Now, for that live tournament day, the points are not going to matter as much, y'all. So you also need to have speed. So it's interesting. Maybe today you want to try out going super fast, and maybe tomorrow when you're on your own, you want to try out getting the most possible points because that's going to get you onto the leaderboard. Keep in mind, different strategy for qualifiers versus the live championship. Let's just go ahead and kick off our first round of Vintage Wings. And as you are playing, we're going to watch the game. And we're also going to be giving you some tips and tricks to help you succeed and be the best that you can be on the live championship. Coming around the corner on November 8th. It is so soon. So Vintage Wings is also visually very beautiful and fun. You're able to select which airplane you want to be, which is very exciting. So it's really important to think about your steering. If you crash, that's just going to take away from your time. So here we can see this view, and this particular person is flying through those glowing purple rings, and we can see that they are getting those points, which is going to help them when it comes to getting the maximum amount of points for the qualifiers. That's really important to make it to the live tournament. It's speed and accuracy. Now, you might be wondering, how are those white boosts coming from the side of this plane? If you are on the recumbent bike, which means you're sitting down, you're going to use the blue button. That blue button will give you boost, and it will make you go faster, and you definitely will need it because Vintage Wings is a great workout. Your legs are going to be burning. If you are on that upright bike, that means you are upright, no back. You're going to use that blue button, which is also an X, and it'll give you that speed boost that you need. Now, as you can tell, the steering is really important. Steering helps you avoid crashing into something, exploding, and if you do, you will regenerate in no time, but it will slow you down. It will make you go further back in the pack. So you kind of have to decide, do you prefer playing Vintage Wings on the recumbent, sitting down, or the upright? Personally, for me, I like playing on the recumbent, which means I like sitting down, and I'm using those handlebars. I'm moving them up and down, left and right, in order to steer correctly. As you can see, there's lots of different obstacles. You have the obstacles of the rocks around you. You have the obstacles of the other floating items in the sky, and here we see air blasts coming from the ground that will kind of move you off the course and potentially have you crash if you do not control your speed. You're also going to notice there's the red outline, and those red outlines, they're going to show you where you're going out of the map or out of the track. You want to try to stay in the track. That way, you don't regenerate. If you go out of the track too far, it's going to cause you to have to come back to life. So lots of strategy here, but really the main thing that I can tell you to prepare for the live tournament for Vintage Wings is to really practice your steering and your speed. So that means you want to get on the bike, you want to pedal as hard as you can, and you want to practice steering. And the game is over, and let's see who made it onto the top of the leaderboard. As we can see here, we have Victor. Victor came in first place with a time of 2 minutes and 7 seconds, and we see this score, 111,500 points. Those points were achieved by flying through those purple hoops. Now, Brian came in second place. You might notice that Brian has a DNF. That just means that Brian was not able to finish the course in the time allotted. So once Victor crossed the finish line, Brian did not finish it within 30 seconds. We can see that Brian got 6,500 points. Great job to both competitors. Very wonderful work. All right, let's go ahead and try one more time. This time, maybe practice practice or try something different. If you were going for the most points, try it out. Going for the speed this time. If you were going for speed last time, try it for the most points this time. It's your decision, your strategy, but know, when you cross that finish line on the live tournament, if you are in first place, that means you are earning $10,000 for your organization. What an amazing opportunity to fundraise money for your organization. If you cross the finish line and you are second place, well, that means you are fundraising $5,000 for your organization. In 2 minutes and 7 seconds, Victor could have earned $10,000 for his organization, and Brian could have earned $5,000. This is an amazing fundraising opportunity. Just think of all the amazing things that you can do and reinvest into your organization by participating into Goji Games. All right, y'all, let's go ahead and try again with Vintage Wings. We are going to do a different track for Vintage Wings. Vintage Wings is so exciting because there's all these different creative worlds and tracks that you can be a part of and you can decide. Now, as you practice to qualify, explore the different tracks, explore the different lengths. Know that the longer that you play, the more likely you will have a higher score by getting through those purple hoops. That's a little tip for you if you want to make it onto that leaderboard for Vintage Wings. Okay, let's go ahead and kick it off for our second round of Vintage Wings. Here we are in the city. Again, so visually cool and appealing. Very modern looking city. When you're playing Vintage Wings, you can select what color you want your plane to be. I like to choose something nice and bright so that I can keep my eye on the color and I don't lose track of my plane. Now in the city, this track is a little tricky. Why? Look at those narrow alleyways that you must go through. And remember, if you crash into the side of a building or a rock, that is absolutely okay, but it will slow you down. Here we can see that this rider is trying to get those hoops and get the speed. Remember, flying through those purple glowing hoops will give you the points that you need to be successful. With the qualifiers, but you got to bring the speed. The speed is so important for the live tournament. You will be able to know your results at the end of your race, just like we saw before, looking at that leaderboard that will pop up right on the screen. All right. I am loving this aerial view of the city. You're flying, you're steering. Another tip that I have for you, y'all, is to really practice. It might take you a little bit of time to get oriented to how to steer with wings. Because you are flying, you are steering, you are pedaling. So the more you practice, the more successful you will likely be. Here we can see a view of a super narrow alley, and this rider is doing an excellent job steering correctly. Again, lots of obstacles to deter you when you are flying through the city or whatever course you're on in Vintage Wings. Here we see that there is some type of floating vehicle that also is an obstacle. Don't forget to use that blue boost button. That boost button will save your legs from burning. And it will also give you the energy or the speed that you need to come in the top 3 on that leaderboard. In order to steer up, if you're on the recumbent, you want to move the handlebars up. In order to steer down on the recumbent, you're going to push those handlebars down. I always recommend that if you are playing this game and you're on the recumbent, you are using both handlebars. Now, if you are on the upright bike, you are going to be using those joysticks. Those joysticks will help you steer. You're also going to use the handlebars to steer. So get comfortable and get used to how you like to steer and on which piece of hardware you prefer playing. Here we can see this racer using the speed boost. Ooh, we see 2 racers getting very close to each other. You should be able to see a map on your screen that will show you where so much for participating in Vintage Wings. We're going to shift gears and try out Solitaire next in just a few moments. All right, y'all. So excited that we are going to be able to play Solitaire for the first time live. Very exciting. Solitaire is a wonderful, relaxing, challenging game for the brain. And we now have it available in tournament mode, which means that someday it'll be available in multiplayer. So for the Goji games, the Solitaire game is available in the active older adult category. So even if you are not an active older adult, we encourage you to still join the Solitaire game. It's a fun game, and also what a great way for you to learn a new Blue Goji game with some Blue Goji experts. So if you just joined us, we are practicing Solitaire for the Goji Games 2025. How you're going to join the tournament is you are going to select the Solitaire icon, then you're going to select Join Tournament, and you should see that there is a lobby or a live game. So again, Join Tournament for Solitaire. We're going to try it out. Even if you're not an active older adult, please come and join us and enjoy playing Solitaire. I must say that Solitaire is a game that I personally love and play often. So let's kick it off. And as folks are playing Solitaire, I will kind of talk through some tips and tricks for the live Goji games. For the live Goji games for Solitaire, we are going to be playing Klondike Solitaire. So it's the most classic game in Solitaire. What you're going to do, how do you play? Your goal is to get aces at the very top of your pile. So those 4 piles on top, you're trying to get aces of all the different spades, clubs, hearts, diamonds, right? need to stack those cards with the like club.
Yeah, so you stack them with similar suits.
Suits, that's the word. Thank you. The suits. You are stacking similar suits on top of each other. How you do that is you're trying to distribute cards at the bottom of your screen in those piles. You have to alternate colors in order to distribute the cards at the bottom. So here we see Victor was able to stack some cards, then opening up more cards. The goal again is to discard ace all the way through king at the top, but needs to be the same suit. Something really great about our solitaire game is we have awesome tutorials that you can watch on devices that will teach you how to play. Here we see Casey. Casey has 2 aces at the top of her board. Now 3. So she's trying to stack those like suits on top of each other, but at the bottom you are alternating colors. You are alternating colors in order to distribute cards. So for solitaire, another ace. In solitaire, in order to make it onto the leaderboard, we're looking for folks with the most points. As you can tell from this view, Casey has 140 points. That means that the amount of cards that have been distributed are equal to 145. Now, there is a chance when you are playing solitaire that you run out of moves. That means you cannot complete the hand, that you cannot finish the game. Your points will still be counted toward the Goji Games leaderboard. So keep that in mind. On the live tournament, when you are competing for solitaire, we're going to be looking at points, of course. But let's say you have the same amount of points as the person in second place. We are then going to be looking at time. Who completed the hand in less time? And that would be the winner of the tournament. When you run out of moves, you can always hit the hit button. The hit button will give you an idea of what to do next. Sometimes you just completely run out of moves. One option that some people tend to do is to hit undo. So they undo some of their previous cards in order to try to correct the mistake. So as we can see, folks have been playing solitaire for around 3 minutes. And if people are not able to complete the round, we're going to go based on those points. Who will have the most points? Here we see a 3 that is red of diamonds. That can be distributed to the 4 of clubs. So in solitaire, you're going to have around up to 10 minutes potentially to complete the deck. Again, if you don't complete it, you still have a chance to be successful and to make it high on the Goji Games leaderboard. How you do that? You do that by focusing on the points. So the great thing is, if you can't complete a hand, we're going to go for the writer that was able to distribute the most points. So if we look at the leaderboard right now, you're not able to see it, but I'm able to see it. The game is over?
Nope.
Oh, but here we see the game is still active, but we see that Casey has a score of 220 points. So Casey's in the lead. Victor has a score of 190 points, which puts him in third place. So thank you. We can see the results. The game is still live and active, but those scores are going to help you. Remember, you can always undo. Undo is something that you have a choice to do. As you undo, your points will decrease because that likely means that your cards are getting redistributed back into that pile, the draw pile, or even down below. So just keep that in mind. Klondike Solitaire is one of our most classic solitaires. It is. There's lots of other solitaires, spider solitaire, pyramid solitaire. So you get to decide during the qualifier period which solitaire you like to play the most. But here, you heard it here, y'all. On the live tournament, we are going to be playing spider solitaire, which is what you're seeing right behind me. Just a little bit about points. If you are able to distribute cards to the bottom, you are getting 5 points. If you are able to distribute cards to the top stack, those aces, in ascending order, you are able to get 10 points. we can see that Casey's going to move that eight of diamonds, and pretty much Casey is good to go. She is now distributing all of her cards, and Casey has completed the deck. Now, Victor and Brian still have a chance to make it points-wise. We're taking points, and we're also taking into account your time. So as we can tell, Victor has no more cards left in his draw pile. The cards were stacked by the same suit from ace all the way to king. So Victor and Casey were able to complete the deck of hands. Now let's take a look at Brian. Is Brian able to complete the hand like Victor and Casey were? I believe in you, Brian. Again, when you have an empty space in solitaire, you're only able to distribute that king. My best piece of advice for you if you are trying to compete in the Goji games with solitaire is to get on the bike and practice. It is such a nostalgic, fun workout. Also, there are so many different versions of the game that you can play that can really help you get better. And remember, in the qualifiers, it's all about those points. So even if you do not complete a hand, your points can still be counted towards the Goji games. Just make sure you end that game. When you end the game, we know that you are done and you are submitting that locked in score. It's really fun when we're watching solitaire. We can move from screen to screen and see the different moves that people are making. Each individual in this solitaire competition has the same cards. They might have distributed the cards in different ways, but they have the same cards. As we can tell, now Brian is in a great place to finish this game. All those cards with the same suit are being stacked, and the game is complete. Nice job. Let's go ahead and take a look at the results. Who came in first, who came in second, and who came in third? Casey came in first place. Nice work. As you can see, the scores were all the same. So what did we do to determine our ranking? We went to the time, or the status. Casey was able to complete that hand in 6 minutes and 26 seconds. This means Casey would win $10,000 for her organization. What an amazing opportunity. Victor in second, winning $5,000 for his organizations. Again, this is not the live Goji game, so this is what it would be like. And Brian coming in third place. This means Brian would be able to fundraise $2,500 by competing for 8 minutes in solitaire. Well done. Round of applause to the competitors in solitaire. If you have any questions about our games, please feel free to reach out to us at events@bluegoji.com. Would love to support you with questions. The qualifier period runs all the way through next Monday, November 2nd, so keep trying your absolute best to make it onto the leaderboard. And if you have not yet joined the Goji Games tournament, if you are a nonprofit with a new bike and you sign into your bike with your account, you should be able to join the Goji Games, and we strongly encourage that you do. Not only will you have a super fun time, create amazing memories with your community, you also can fundraise money to better your community and your organization. We hope to see you on the leaderboard, and after November 2nd, we hope that you make it to the live championship on November 8th. Thank you all for participating and tuning in to our practice sessions, and don't forget to reach out to us at events@bluegoji.com if you have any questions for the next few weeks while we close out Goji Games 2025. All right, y'all, we'll see you next time.